Hi parents, please forgive the bad lighting here. So it's nighttime. Let's jump right in. So you have a student who's super well um, advanced in the STEM fields, but you're a little concerned about their writing. So I want to give you some very helpful and practical tips for helping them. We want to think of it in a different mindset than we're used to. Because the math is very precise, is it not? Higher level math is not always precise. It's very creative, isn't it? Just like writing. So I want to talk about a couple things today. The 6 stages of the writing process and the usefulness of using different forms or being aware of the different forms of essays, okay? Because what we want to do is learn to use the mathematical element of math in English. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, in math, you can check your division by doing multiplication and vice versa, right? Well, why can't you check your work to see if it's high level, high quality, right? How do you do that? Well, it's not such an easy task, but where you begin is you start with knowing the different forms, okay? If you want me to send you these different forms for a template of each of these different types of essays, feel free to ask. I'll send that along to you. Amateurs imitate, iconoclasts break rules, but masters or experts learn the forms. So we want higher level writing. Okay, let's dive right in. The 6 stages of the writing process are pre-writing, number 1, number 2, first draft, number 3, peer revision, peer editing, peer feedback mostly. Fourth step is revision, changing the major elements of the writing, adding what's needed, deleting what's needed to be deleted, rearranging the ideas, strengthening ideas, working on the development, organization of the paper. And finally, last 2 steps are editing for grammar, punctuation, mechanics, and the last stage is publishing the final draft. Okay, that's nothing new, is it? However, to become expert writers, higher level writers, we want to re-engage with the basic format of the writing process, which I just gave you. When you find your students struggling with ideas, for example, they need to spend more time in the pre-writing stage, discussing, drawing, doing research, even doing some trial and error writing, even some informal writing, some brainstorming. Okay. Again, I have many techniques for that. Can't talk about it right now. It would be a very long video. Okay. Now, how do they check their work to see that it's quality? Well, they can begin at least by knowing the different types of essays that are out there, right? There's 4 different types of writing: expository, descriptive, narrative, and analytical writing, okay? And according to Kelly Gallagher, there are 6 types of practical writing which follow those 4 types but expand upon those. For example, taking a stand is a different type of writing. Narrative writing becomes expressive, reflective. Notice how it becomes more detailed in terms of its description. That is one of the superpowers of a person who wants to write better. They break the task down, okay? They understand, oh, I'm taking a stand. Oh, I'm not just writing a story. I'm expressing something and reflecting upon it, okay? Final thought. How does a student become advanced? Well, the same way students in Asian countries became advanced with higher level math by knowing the rudiments, knowing the basic structures, the basic vocabulary. For example, the math times tables. Once they knew those times tables at an early age, it became a foundation for them to build more complex mathematical operations, to the point that once they really build upon these different layers, they automatically operate in the, what we call the depth of knowledge 3 and 4 realm, which is a fancy way of saying critical thinking realm, creative realm. Okay? So in my tutoring, I create an environment of excellence for these things to take place. And we break the task down. The Institute for Excellence in Writing says, and they have found, that students struggle in part because they are not familiar with the steps. It's an essay. That's all they know. They know the topic. But where's the problem? Where's the bottleneck? Where's the traffic jam? Expressing why they're having trouble beginning their essay or expressing their ideas. Okay, so that is my practical tip for you today. Hopefully that's been helpful. Press the link, or not the link, but let me know if you would like more information about this, and press yes if you would like more helpful tips. You want to be more specific. You want to take something I talked about and break it down further. Do you want the templates, the different formats of an essay? What goes in the introduction? What goes in a body paragraph for a persuasive essay? What goes in a third body paragraph? What goes in a conclusion for a good persuasive essay? It's not about a formula. It's about creative confines that force the brain, once the student masters those forms, to operate at a higher level. I'll leave you with the gold nugget. According to, do I have his book here? I think it's upstairs. Horatio Sanchez wrote a book called The Education Revolution. Get your mind around this. When students learn the basic core concepts of a discipline, whether it's math, English, history, etc., to the point of automaticity, not only is higher order thinking possible, it's inevitable. It will take place. All right? I teach my students how to master the forms so that their writing is original. And that has great import and practical usefulness for the college personal statement, doesn't it? Right? Because you're trying to tell colleges who they are and why it matters. And so when I help mentor students through their writing, I'm also teaching them what I'm doing and why, so that they can be in control of their writing. They don't get AI detected and, worst of all, have an adult do it for them, which is not good for their college application. Okay, so, and also be sure to ask about my assessment/acceleration service. Super affordable, and especially for those on my Facebook page, you get a special discount. It's worth its weight in gold. It'll give your student clarity, and I have a potential tutoring program as well. And if your student doesn't get their grades boosted to the goal that we set out for them, then I work for free. Think about that. I guarantee my work. Pretty cool. And I have lots of happy students. So take care and look forward to the next video.